I guess I just, I mean, you're welcome.
Here's your hosts of the MonsterCast, the Straight Edge Monster Jack and Ryan.
Fastlane review time. Here we go.
Listen, there was nothing
so
wrong
there's no
with
5
Fastlane.
stars. I have absolutely no 5-star matches on this show. None.
But there was nothing wrong with it.
Wrong
Actually,
with
there
it
was
how?
one thing. There were no bad matches. Not like
You don't think it was
egregiously bad matches?
All right, let me ask you this. Okay. Match content wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're not talking about booking wise.
No, booking wise, it fucking. First of all,
Who has the last man standing match and
Last
doesn't
man
come in
standing
fucking
match.
cash in your Money in the Bank
Right.
briefcase?
The person is fucking beaten up for how long? How long was that match? It was at least like half an hour. No, I think I should say it was probably like at most.
It was over 20 for sure. Had to be.
It was definitely over 20. It might have been just under 30. But like, because I remember when the show ended, it ended at like 10:50, and I was like, wait, they still got 10 minutes or whatever the fuck, or 11:50 or whatever time. But I remember it was like 10 till the hour, and I was like, what the fuck? Maybe they're gonna have a cash in, and I didn't have a fucking cash in. It was the stupidest thing on earth to me. The thing is, you do that whole storyline earlier in the night where you're like, oh well, Damien's hurt. So the Judgment Day is convincing him not to go cash it in or whatever. He's not as hurt as fucking Seth Rollins is at the end of that match, first of all.
Yeah. Did Damian
secondly,
Priest, who didn't even go through the table, by the way, and who had 2.5 hours to recoup because it was the
Right.
first match. Seth is in the last match on a last man standing match, and
Right.
you didn't have enough time to go out there and do this.
And if you're going to tell the story that Rhea, as the leader, they're clearly making her the leader because she's the one that does all the handshakes with Heyman, and she's the one that
There's
tells
no leader
Priest
in the
to give her
Judgment Day, guy. You know this.
She's the leader. They're very clearly making her the leader. So, which I think is great. It's when the fuck has there ever been
No,
a
she's been the
stable
leader.
that's
Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
She's been the leader for a long time.
when has there ever been a stable that's been led by a woman that's actively wrestling and not just as like a fucking manager that tells two big dudes to go beat up people or whatever?
Well, you know the closest thing was, I mean, the closest
China?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, China's the closest thing.
But I still think that if we're talking about leader at that time,
No, I get what
it
you're
was
saying,
like-
but like that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
closest thing. Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely co-leadership between Triple H and Michaels. But yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and it does. It's kind of got that same vibe, except she's actually got a character aside from just standing there menacingly.
Correct. Yeah, and like China has the menacing and beating up dudes and getting involved in a way that actually helps them win.
Mm-hmm.
But China didn't have the promo, the skill in the ring or whatever at that time, of course, because she didn't become a wrestler till later. That Rhea Ripley has. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Hold on, looking up something real quick.
I think the most egregious thing from Fastlane was Michael Cole calling Cody a leader of the Bullet Club at one point.
She's 26. That's crazy. She's 26 and already like at the place that she is in her career and doing what she's doing. She's got short of her
Dude,
getting
no,
injured
there's
or
no
something.
way. And I'm sitting here, I'm being very serious when I say this. Being 26, already winning the Royal Rumble, not main eventing, but being at WrestleMania twice in a big match against Charlotte
Should have
twice.
main evented.
Should have. I don't remember what my stance was.
last.
Oh no, in hindsight for sure, because it was a 5-star match. No joke. And they had the story. So yeah.
But yeah,
Fucking leading a stable for as long as you have, dominating, like, dude, if I'm Tony Khan, dude,
right?
I'm finding out when her shit is, hey, you've done pretty much everything you can do over there. How about you bring your ass over here? And she'll still be relatively young. She ain't gonna be fucking 40 something like Edge.
And Buddy's over there too already, so it's like
Correct.
an easy, yeah.
Not only that,
So,
like, dude, if Buddy's contract comes up before Rhea's, I'm throwing the bag at Buddy to get his ass to stay so that I have a better shot at getting Rhea. And I love Buddy, but I have no problem using somebody as leverage as a businessman. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got Baker and made her a big star so I could get Cole. Let's be real.
That's not true. Come on.
No, that is true. It just ended up being that Baker was a lot better investment than you probably thought going in. It ended up being a better investment. That's all that.
I don't think he was thinking that far ahead. Because I don't think he even knew when Cole's contract was up at the time. I don't think so. So let me think.
There ain't no way you're not telling me that the Young Bucks said, "Hey man, get Britt Baker and maybe we can get our buddy over here." Come on. Come on, dude. That was never a conversation.
I don't think it was to get Cole over there. I think it was like, hey.
I agree. I agree that I'm not saying that they did it specifically to get Cole, but I'm saying that you can't tell me there's not a little bit of thinking going on in that head.
I don't think they might have known when his contract was up because I'm sure he would have told Matt and Nick. Who knows? So, yeah, back to the complaint with the whole reason of bringing out Rhea or whatever. She's the leader. She grabs the briefcase. The briefcase, as far as I'm aware, in storyline, is like a bearer instrument in the sense that whoever has it is turning it in because it's a blank contract. It doesn't have the person's name on it, as far as I know. It's just a contract that you can turn in. I don't think there's. I don't know if there's precedent.
You may be right because if you think about it, how many matches have they had for the briefcase?
Right, because you can lose it in a match. So I'm pretty sure it's a bearer instrument in the sense that whoever has it owns it. It's like a money order. So like, yeah, I don't know why the story at that point, if they're gonna tell this whole backstage narrative about how Damien's not gonna be the one cash it in, they've already got this like friction between him and Finn. They just lost a match. He's hurt. They want to bring a belt into the fucking Judgment Day. That's such a perfect setup for more friction, is to have Finn Balor go out, take the belt off of Rollins after his grueling fucking last man standing match, and then you tell that story of the friction between Priest and Finn going forward.
Oh, that's way past friction. That's full on blow up.
Yeah.
That's full on blow up on Raw, dude. Finn Balor comes out there as the new champion with the rest of the Judgment Day. Damian Priest is still hurt, quote unquote hurt, or they think he is, and then that motherfucker just rushes out there and starts beating the shit out of him, a la Matt Hardy to Edge backstage when he came back after Lita cheated on him or whatever. Just beat the shit out of him out of nowhere. No, that's full on blow up. There's no fucking friction. You just took my world championship away from me. Nah, fuck that.
I think there's a way to tell the story where they could slow burn it for at least like a week or two. You have them all come out together, and Rhea's talking and tries to sell it as like, you know, him stepping up for the group by going out and doing it when Priest couldn't because Priest was hurt, and like selling is like a collective good kind of thing, and you just kind of see Priest stewing about it, and then next week some shit happens and that's when he has his blow up or whatever. I think you could get another couple weeks out of it, but
I mean at this point I feel like the friction is going to be Damian Priest is clearly going to be on the side of, hey, it's either JD or me. I'm getting the fuck out of here if you pick JD type deal. I think that's where they're going with it because he fucked up so bad.
But I ignore that he exists because he looks weird and he doesn't add anything to the story. So, whatever.
I don't know if you saw my tweet or not, but I said regarding Michael Cole's bullshit comment about Cody leading the Bullet Club during the show.
Oh God, yeah.
I said if anything, on a scale, Cody was a lot closer to JD McDonough trying to be in Judgment Day than he was a leader of the Bullet Club.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
But anyway, it was funny too because Corey was like, "Oh, you're trying to get cool points on Twitter." Nobody that knows anything about the Bullet Club about to give you any cool points. You about to get fucking roasted on Twitter. Is what's about to fucking happen. That's what's about to happen, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. I guess during the arc where Kenny was obviously still the leader, but it was Cody trying to take over it, and he did have that split off faction. You could say that he was the leader of that faction, like the fractional issue that was happening within Bullet Club at the time.
But even that wouldn't that be like co-leader though still?
So it depends on how serious you view the split. Was it NWO?
It lasted like 2 weeks because remember it was Cody and all the Gaijin was going against Haku. He's like, remember the fucking famous shit? He's like, what the fuck is wrong with Haku? Or what the fuck was Haku doing on the BTE segment? It was fucking hilarious. Yeah. They all sit down afterwards and like, what the fuck? What's Haku's problem? That's just funny as shit. Yeah, so like at that point it was Omega 1A and then maybe Cody 1B if anything, and that was still only half the Bullet Club. So I mean, he was never leader of anything.
Yeah. You know what?
That's
is
like
weird to
saying
me,
Jeff
though?
Jarrett was the leader of Bullet Club. No, it wasn't. He wasn't. No.
Kind
No.
I think you're just a Jeff Jarrett hater.
Oh, I love Jeff Jarrett. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, then you acknowledge him. So
I
the other
acknowledge
thing
Rhea
about
Ripley only.
same. So the thing about JD McDonough too is that he's had a lot of, like, completely outside of wrestling, he's had a lot of fucking allegations against him with picture evidence of him being physically abusive to an ex and all this other shit. Like,
He's one of the very few that actually survived all that
You
from
don't know
NXT
how.
UK.
I don't know how. Why are they putting him in any position of prominence with that kind of like shit in his background? Like with the, there's no fucking way.
My thing
that
is
that-
no
that
one's
idea.
really fucking blasting it all over the Twitter feeds like they did with Matt Riddle or like they did with Velveteen or like they did with Quincy Elliott. That I think that has something to do with it too.
The only person that I've ever seen bring it up is that Tori girl, Belgian Erica or whatever.
Yeah, Belgian
But
Erica,
yeah, I never see anybody else talk about his shit, and it's just like, I guess I just fucking forgot it happened. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I've never been a really big fan of him. He just looks like fucking Finn Balor light. I don't know what, like a Funko Pop version of Finn Balor.
He's got a Roblox head.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of him. But anyway, really the only people I like from NXT UK are the ones that are down in NXT right now. Pretty much, I like Gallus. I like Pete Dunne. I like Walter. I like Tyler Bate. Those are that was pretty much it. I like Dave Masted too, but they released him when they got rid of the UK scene or whatever. I really like Dave Masted too, but those were like my favorite ones. And most of them are still there. Anyway, Fastlane review. What'd you think about the John Cena LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso match?
It wasn't bad. I expected them to win, so that wasn't really a surprise. You don't have John Cena come back and LA Knight, as big as he is, come in and have them lose, unless there was some shit where they did like a miscommunication spot and then they're setting up a match between LA Knight and John Cena, which at that point you have to make one of them the
Are we
bad
assuming
guy.
that LA Knight is going to be the opponent to Roman Reigns at Saudi or no? Because I feel like it's definitely being set up to be Bloodline and Judgment Day versus, Cody, LA Knight,
Cody,
Jey Uso
arc. Yeah.
at Survivor Series.
Well,
maybe their mystery partner is CM Punk.
Yeah, because they've got 4, right? And then all the other ones together are 6.
It'll be 5 or 6 depending on who they want to put in the match.
Yeah. But if you put, well, Dominic would probably be the odd one out if they were trying to book it strong, or they would take
Or it
Priest
depends
or
on
Finn
if
out.
Priest was having issues with Finn or try to say he was injured or some bullshit like that.
Yeah. So Roman, Jimmy, maybe they're still kind of teasing around that a little bit.
They can actually use that going forward though. If Jimmy fucks up and loses it, maybe he's like the last one or some shit like that.
I did like the spots in the match too, though, where he was trying to play to Solo and Solo was
Solo ignored him. Yeah.
So there was good storytelling in the match, is why I liked it too. But as far as in ring work or anything, it was a fucking John Cena LA Knight match, and I love LA Knight. Don't get me wrong, but his moveset isn't some fucking like crazy.
No, his moveset is like The Rock or Austin. His moveset is catered to Attitude Era audiences, which I believe is part of the reason why he's catching on, because he's one of the few that have that type deal going on right now.
Yeah,
he's technically different in the realm of WWE because he's going back to what they used to be good at. I mean, he's just using the stuff that worked. I can't blame him for that.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the end thing with the hand raising shit? John Cena goes to raise his hand and it's like nah, and then raises John Cena's hand.
I mean, I don't think there's anything to come of it, because I don't think they can plan ahead with John Cena not knowing when the actor strike's going to end, and he's literally going to go leave WWE and go right back to it as soon as it ends.
No, I'm not talking about storyline. I'm talking about like It almost seemed to me like
Oh, like the Hogan thing, like he's trying to steal the spotlight.
it seemed like LA. Okay,
The
if
answer
that's
was
me
yes, and
that-
you didn't want to say yes, right? Like
Who's-
Hogan Warrior type deal.
like John Cena's gonna raise LA Knight's hand and be like, "Oh yeah, everybody cheer for this guy that you were already fucking cheering for," to make himself look better, and it was almost
Giving
'cause
himself
when they
the
talk
LA
about-
Knight rub instead of LA Knight
Right.
getting the Cena rub. Yes.
Yeah, and LA Knight kind of, it seemed to me, because when it got asked about it in the scrum, it was very obvious that it was not like a planned thing. And if that's me in LA Knight's spot and John Cena's going to go raise my hand or whatever, I don't want the like, oh, here's because there is sort of like a little bro kind of thing that comes with it, where they view you differently. It's like you're the guy under this guy, but this guy approves of you, and there's like an inherent bias toward whether or not you're like a star when that happens or whatever the fuck. Like if John Cena goes out and raises Mustafa Ali's hand after a match, you're not like, oh, they're on the same level or whatever. But if Mustafa
Correct.
Ali,
The problem with this is
raises-
because
it's
LA
like a
Knight is
weird
in his
power dynamic
40s. It's not Undertaker shaking John Cena's hand after he did the thing with Kurt Angle or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not the same because there's not a huge age gap in between them. It's not. I mean, like you can't. I mean, I don't know if it was planned beforehand. You said you don't think it was, but
Well, they said at the scrum it wasn't. It was
Okay,
like an
but-
organic kind of, yeah.
but it looks bad if it wasn't. It does look bad because when they're in the match during the introductions or whatever, and after the introductions are over, he turns around and they're facing the fucking audience on the opposite side of the hard cam that we all see, and they're all chanting LA Knight. They're not chanting Cena. They're all chanting LA Knight. So, I mean, it could be a situation like DX trying to get the spotlight from CM Punk at Survivor Series when they had the team. They had the CM Punk and the Hardys, and DX was the team. And they had them all out there, and I think they were in Philly or something, ROH country, and they were all chanting fucking CM Punk instead of DX. And then they kind of tried to, get the rub off of that or whatever. Like, so I don't know. You might be right. You might be onto something there, but I don't think it's going to be really anything going forward. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to turn into a Hogan Macho Man situation or anything.
Oh,
like,
I don't think it is either. It's just interesting to me. It seemed to me like,
And Cena already got the Pat McAfee rub before he got out there. So
Yeah,
you already
is
got one rub, dude. You don't need LA Knight's rub too. God damn, you're fucking John Cena. You're supposed to be the greatest of all time.
I think it was just the LA Knight picking up on it and being like, no, he's trying to low bro me. If I raise his hand, then I look respectful, but not like I need his fucking rub or whatever. That's what it came off like.
Yeah,
to
I
me
mean,
at the
I can
moment.
see where that would be a thing, but I don't think it's as egregious as Hogan Bret Hart WrestleMania 9
No, it's
Yokozuna.
nothing like
yeah,
that.
you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. It was like an interesting little power dynamic thing to watch play out in real time, because LA Knight like refuses to give him his hand. He's like, no, you give me your hand, and they talk about it for like 3 or 4 seconds. It's a little bit awkward, and then they do that. So it was I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting little
it's
interpersonal
interesting.
dynamic at play there.
It's whatever. I do think it's weird that Cena was the legend and came back and he was the workhorse in the match because LA Knight had to get the hot tag.
Yeah.
That was crazy. All
We
right,
get-
so
we gotta-
overall
we gotta-
grade, are we giving it higher than No Mercy? Because they were all solid from top to bottom, and even though there was no 5s? Are you giving it higher than your C plus or whatever the hell you gave the other one?
Yeah, I did give it a C plus. What'd you think about the Carlito's new music?
Hate it. Hate
Yeah,
it. Hate
I
it.
did too.
Just
Change it
have them
back.
have. If you don't want the people spitting in people's face like little kids or something like that, if that's what you're worried about, just take the fucking intro language out and give him his fucking music.
Yeah, it could just be. The
But
same
they
song,
said
bro.
it's something. It's either like it's like a CFO or Jim Johnston issue, not a. I don't know why you couldn't just do a remix version of it though. You could just do a remix
Yeah.
version of it. I don't really understand.
And it wasn't an issue when he was just in Puerto Rico.
Correct, because that's what they played. They played his song
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico. I don't understand it either.
But yeah, no, I was not a fan of that change. Maybe it'll grow on me, but him being around for so long, then being gone for so long, when he comes back and you change his song within like one day of him being back, like there's a long time of that music being associated with him, and it was a little bit jarring. I thought it was weird.
Somebody that only had one theme song his entire WWE career, yeah, that's weird. Also, I think I would have been a little bit more cool with it if he would have came out to his OG theme then, and then maybe on Raw or SmackDown, then you debut the new theme.
Yeah.
But no,
'Cause it
I
kinda-
still don't like the theme overall. No, I think it's weird.
There was a little bit of confusion when it started because they were like, well,
that's why that's why they literally threw Carlito's name on the fucking screen so everybody would know who it was, because they knew that same thing was going to happen, because that's terrible. Yeah. I love Sean Ross's tweet about it too, because he said that's why he was so late, because he didn't have any new theme music, so he was waiting for them to get done with the theme music, and that's what they came up with, that shit theme, and that's why he was like 10 minutes late into the match or whatever.
Makes sense. Yeah, that too. The booking on that was also weird. Like, why not just have him come out from the start? For the pop? That's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
You would have got the pop anyway.
Line.
And I don't know if I saw this correctly. I feel like I did, because I said it to myself out loud. Didn't Selena have a motherfucking mic in her hand when she came out?
Yeah.
She didn't say anything. What was she not supposed to just announce him there? Like, who changed that? I don't understand why he didn't come out initially either. It doesn't make any sense. He could have stood on the apron and stood there the entire time and not done anything and still got the hot tag the exact same way. It would have made no sense. It made no sense for him to come out late. Who the fuck? Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar. I'm gonna go out there and be like, hey man, we're just gonna fucking just say fuck it. We're gonna start this match, and if Carlito comes, he fucking comes. If he doesn't, we're fucked. That's the only person you guys called.
Or he is backstage the whole time, and they're just like, nah, man, you relax. You just come out when we need you. It'll be all right. We'll handle it.
Yeah, it's dumb. I don't like that.
What fucking tactical, like, this makes no sense at all.
Unless there was an WWE exclusive after the fact, and they do like a video and be like, hey man, what took you so long to get here type deal, something like that. And then he said something like, oh, I had traffic or something. Like something has to be said, because that doesn't make any sense, dude. None.
The storytelling on that was just very
because that would be like, okay, so like say I'm in that position. I'm about to have to go fight somebody, and I got one person and they got two people, and I called somebody and they're not there yet. I'm just going to grab someone else at that point.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
You're telling me Rey Mysterio don't have nobody else he can talk to back there to
I'm sure Kevin Owens was probably there. Just ask him.
I know Edge went to AEW, but you didn't have nobody else that you could have teamed with. Nobody. Be like, hey, Batista, I know you got a fucking private jet. Come on in.
Dragon Lee.
Yeah, I know. That's a lot of people were saying Dragon Lee, and like Dragon Lee and Carlito were the main two that were being thrown around or whatever. Yeah, Dragon Lee. Like I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe he didn't want another small guy. Maybe he didn't want Dragon Lee because Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus fucking Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford. Maybe not the best option, but I agree. If somebody's going to be late, then I'll just take the small dude just so I can have three people. Yeah. Fuck. All right, so anything else you want to talk about on that show?
I don't think so. I think I've had enough.
I don't think so, guy.
We talked about the scrum already, so I mean, I think I'm good. That's pretty much the only other thing that happened relevant to it.
All right, so we talked about the triple threat.
Oh, Falcon Arrow finally won a match. There's that.
Who?
The Falcon Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
It finally won a match with it.
Wow. Come on, man. We're counting that as a win with a Falcon Arrow, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
If he was doubted for 10 seconds, he would have been pinned for 3.
It would have also been a DQ.
No, you're allowed. If the table's already there, you're allowed to hit people into it.
Oh, don't start that shit. Don't start that shit again on the show. Don't start that shit.
Okay, if that's the case, then why didn't
it wasn't the announce table?
Why didn't Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso get disqualified when Damian Priest went through the table?
Because he didn't go through the table. The table never buckled, Brody. And it was the announce table too, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. If something is already set up there, then it doesn't count as a disqualification to use it. No, so you think if the table did break,
there's no way he would have made it back to the ring in 10 seconds anyway. Disqualified? You would have got counted out. You only get 10 seconds. You don't get 20.
You think he can't run all the way out there in 10 seconds?
No. After a 30-minute match, you got to run out there, do the move, and then run back. No.
Yeah.
No.
I can do it. I'm built different.
Yeah, okay.
So if he did a Falcon Arrow from the turnbuckle to the ring announce table, what's the difference?
The announce table has never been something that people get DQ'd for.
Because
it's the announce table.
Because it's already set up there. It's already set up there.
Yeah, but those tables are not always set up in the same spots, therefore it's not the same thing.
But they're not the ones who set it up there. It was already there at the start of the match.
It doesn't matter, bro.
It's the same
It
reason you
doesn't
use
matter.
the barricade, and it's not a weapon.
Oh my god, don't start me fucking talking to me about barricades, dude. That shit's
Yeah.
stupid as fuck. You're telling me, oh, that's another fucking. I don't want to go back in time over here, but the Tiffany Stratton through the barricade bullshit by doing Dana Brooks' handspring back elbow thing. Come on, man. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Come the fuck on, man.
Disrespecting a former NXT UK Women's Champion with your nonsense. Yeah. Barricade, stairs get used a
Who
lot.
the hell is a former NXT UK Women's Champion? Who are you talking about?
Dana Brooke.
UK?
Or not
I mean,
UK,
24/7?
24/7. Yeah, you're right. But she did it in NXT UK.
Okay. Anyway, so what do you give the Fastlane review?
Uh,
I mean, not our review. Don't grade our
4.
review. Grade the show.
My review was perfect. I did nothing wrong.
The review was great. You guys don't. You could just watch this. You don't have to watch it. If you didn't watch Fastlane, you don't have to now. If you watch the review, you missed nothing.
Well, you missed the Falcon Arrow winning a match, and you missed. You should watch the scrum at least to watch Cody and Jade drunk.
No, you can watch that on YouTube. That's not part of the show.
Kind of fucking makes sense. But yeah, as far as matches go, I don't think you would miss anything by not watching it. It wasn't great in ring wise. It was pretty average all the way across. I'd probably give it like another C plus.
Kudos for Pat McAfee, by the way, for thinking that, making those Indiana fans think they're going to get a fucking WrestleMania. Never.
They've had one before.
They'll never get another one. Indianapolis will not get a WrestleMania. He did literally did the John Cena UK promo.
Oh yeah, that was weird, right? Because John Cena's literally already told London that they were getting it.
And
right?
then he announced John Cena, who did that promo. Out. It was literally a cookie cutter John Cena UK promo at Money in the Bank.
That is weird. Well, he said a WrestleMania. He didn't say the next WrestleMania, so
I don't think either one of them said the next
maybe
one, but still,
WrestleMania 52. Who knows? I think
it won't be at it won't be UK because it won't be at Wembley, baby. We got that shit on lock.
I think Triple H said at the scrum something about like he got asked something about the announcement that maybe not get a WrestleMania there or whatever. He's like, yeah, we're always looking at places to go. We got a lot of places in mind.
I don't understand why they don't understand he's going to give quality management answers. He's not going to answer anything specifically ever.
Unless
I don't even know why he sits out there. Tony Khan fields more questions and answers more questions. I mean, yes, he still dances around a lot of it, but he answers a lot more questions.
He can't answer, but he gives straight answers on a lot of stuff too. People will make fun of him a lot.
The women's wrestling question, he did not give a straight answer. That was a bullshit answer.
There is some stuff that the thing with him is that I don't know what it is in his brain, but he will always try to find a way back to promoting the show. Which is weird.
It's smart.
It is smart.
By the way, a lot of people talk about the attendance, especially like on Collision this past yesterday. They talk about the attendance in all these places. You know, why don't they go back to what they were doing before for the first 2 years of fucking 3 years of Dynamite and tell you where you're going at the fucking bottom of the screen, your next 8 fucking towns, please? Why don't you put that up on the screen so everybody knows where you're going? That'll help. I don't understand why they stopped doing that.
Yeah, because I don't know when they're running in or around here because they never really say it on TV until they're already saying like, oh yeah, next week we'll be in, which happens sometimes. But yeah, there's no they're never putting out like a schedule. I mean, I could always go look it up, but I'm never inclined to because stuff doesn't run around here often enough for me to think that they're going to run around here. And when they came here last time, I had no idea that they were in the area. I think they ran in Greensboro. And I didn't know they were coming here until basically they'd already announced that that's where they would be in 4 days or whatever. And I don't have time to plan around that. But if I had known 2 months in advance, maybe I would have gone to them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Is weird.
All right, let's move over. I'm gonna give it a C. Because like you said, it was solid. That's middle grade of the road right there. C. I'll give it a C. I also don't like that Nakamura lost, but I don't really. I'm not like one of those people that are like going into it. They're like, oh, Nakamura better win. I need Seth Rollins to drop it. Like, I'm okay with Seth keeping the title. Let's be real here. My issue is now Nakamura's lost twice in a row to Seth. Now what does he do? Go back to fighting fucking Bronson Reed and Ciampa every fucking week? You can't do anything with him now. There's nothing to do. That's my only issue with Nakamura. Because not only did you lose twice, but the second one was a gimmick match. So it's done. You're done.
Against somebody who was injured, who you took a fucking chair to
he
their
played,
back for like 30 seconds
he
straight.
played the Rollins role against Cody against Rollins.
Yeah, it sucks. And then for Triple H to say afterward, "Oh yeah, this is a Shinsuke I've wanted to see," and blah blah blah. Like,
yeah, clearly not.
if you wanted to see him, give him some fucking booking that lets you keep seeing him. Rollins doesn't have to be a fucking eternal champion here. He can lose the belt and win it back 2 months from now, and nobody's gonna bat a goddamn eye at it. But it seems like every championship now, they're like, everybody has to have long reigns with everything, except for some reason, the NXT North American one. But yeah, it's just very weird to me.
Yeah, it's weird to me too, because that was a company that definitely had no problem changing the world titles 6 times a year.
And it doesn't make Seth look bad to get the shit beaten out of him with a chair nonstop for like 30 seconds and then not be able to answer it when you know that the story of the match is that he's got a bad back. Like, he can get up from that spot, but then maybe he takes like a huge back bump or whatever, and then he just literally can't get up. There's a ways to tell this. There was a time when he got pushed off the ladder, that could have been the end of the match. And it would have made perfect sense with everything that they'd told going up to it, as far as his back being fucked up and whatever. Shinsuke can win. Seth can take a couple months off TV, whatever, and then come back and fucking win it, and none of them look any worse for it.
My main issue with the lack of title changes at this point, you could say, is that it hurts the rest of your roster. So we've always had this thing with WWE where it's Roman, it was Lesnar, and then it was nobody else because no one could touch these fucking guys. Who's gonna beat them? No one can beat them. It's fucking, you're making the rest of your roster look silly when Roman's beating Kevin Owens 4 times in the same reign. How am I ever supposed to take Kevin Owens seriously when he gets another reign? That's Rollins. Yeah, exactly. Like, so you're killing the rest of your roster. And now it's like, the reason that a lot of people like the Attitude Era is because you had so many people that could win the championship at any given time. That's why when you watch an Attitude Era pay-per-view, it's like, holy fuck, this person could actually win. You had Austin, you had Rock, you had Undertaker, you had Kane, you had Mankind, you had Kurt Angle, you had Jericho. Anybody could potentially win. Like, you had like literally a roster of like 10 main eventers that could at any point win the world title. Triple H, throw it in there too. Anybody. It was insane. And now you don't have that. Now you've got like 3 people, and then the rest is like, you'll act like we'll give you a couple of fucking mid-card wins in a row, throw you in there, then you lose a couple times in a row, and then we'll throw you back down.
You know what it feels like is there was a period in time where so many people were complaining about 50-50 booking, and what it seems like is that they overcorrected for it. Like, they basically said, okay, well, now we're going to have feuds where one guy wins 4 fucking times. The other guy never gets a win in the entire feud. He might stand tall on Raw one night, but he's never going to win a fucking match. And 50-50 booking would be better. The problem with 50-50 booking was that they weren't telling the storylines behind it to make them seem like it made sense, or make it seem like that made them more competitive, so they wanted to fight each other even more, or whatever. It was always just like, oh, that guy has to get his win back so he doesn't look bad. And the storylines never made sense for it. Like, when they would do shit like, there's a pay-per-view match, the guy loses, and then the next night they have the same match, or a tag variant of the same match, and then the other guy gets his win back. That was the complaint with 50-50 booking. It wasn't that, that reigns weren't long enough or anything like that. So they just way fucking overcorrected for that problem. And now it's gotten to the point where, aside from the Trick Williams Domino Mysterio thing, like, nobody's really flipping shit back and forth like they used to.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch all links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.